Hey everyone, this is Kevin the Apptrepreneur, and we're going to do something a little different for this video. One of the things that I want to bring into my channel in the new year is a little bit more fun, a little bit more positivity. I still want to do my rant videos where I gripe and complain and moan and all that stuff. It's not like I want to stop doing that, but I think there's some truth to some of the complaints that, maybe your channel's been getting a little too negative. So let's once in a while kind of scale it back a little bit, take a step back, and let's do something a little fun. And I figured it would be one of the things we could do that would be fun, because people actually ask me this question all the time. I don't know why, and apparently this is like a thing. They want to know what people on YouTube I actually watch. Now, of course, if you are subscribed to my Apptrepreneur channel, you can see me subscribe to virtually all of the Uber tubers out there, including a few that have made videos that were not super nice to me, to be perfectly frank. But I have a main channel where that's the account that is hooked up to my Xbox, my PS4, and what I use when I, drive around. I want to listen to videos podcast style. So those are the people that I watch for fun. And I figured we would, look over some of them, and I would just, give these people a shout out. Some of them don't need my support, but, it's always good to kind of tell people, hey, you're doing a good job. So let's get started with the first one. And this one will probably be a little controversial for some, but it's the Ranting Monkey. The Ranting Monkey is admittingly a very conservative political commentator, but he says stuff in a very droll, dry voice. It's just absolutely hilarious, and I love his videos. Another one that I personally like watching is Becky Boop. Now, she doesn't update that much anymore. In fact, it says that her last upload was 7 months ago. But, as you can see, she talked on Roseanne being canceled, why she quit YouTube, and I discovered her during the Fine Brothers controversy, and this was the channel that kind of inspired me to, at least on my other channel, start talking about more current day events, which actually did pay off pretty well for the most part. I wish that she updated more often, but I can understand why she doesn't. But she was really good at figuring out the algorithm, so I learned a lot from that channel. Another channel that I like watching, and this one might surprise you if it'll load, is A Clockwork Reader. And A Clockwork Reader, you see, she's not small at all. She's got 190K subscribers. I will be lucky to get that much. She basically reads books and she discusses books. She's I think she's part of the booktuber community. That's a big thing. And I actually read quite a bit. If any of you are on my Goodreads account, you will see that I actually am a pretty avid reader in my downtime, and so I like watching videos where people talk about the love of literature. Another channel I like, these are not loading as fast as I would have liked, so I'm sorry about that. Oh, Adam Korolek. Now, Adam's videos are very interesting. He's basically an unboxing channel without the unboxing aspect. He's a big video game fan, and my favorite thing that he does is the yearly retrospectives of the consoles year. He talks about the companies, the consoles, what it was like for the last year, what his future predictions are. And it's always interesting to see his where he eventually winds up. In fact, funny thing about Adam, I met him in Germany. And he was in one of my vlogs, which was on my channel that's pretty much dead, but I'm going to be moving those videos to my main channel if you want to see those vlogs. So yeah, he was a guest star on one of my videos. Another channel I like watching is A Dose of Buckley. Now, he hasn't been updating recently. In fact, as you can see, 6 months ago, he wrote a burnout hiatus, but he's an angry Canadian, and he does political rants, and, well, just rants in general. And he does it with a very snarky sense of humor. I don't know what he's like in person. He sounds so sincere in his videos that he might not be a happy person in real life. I don't know. But he is definitely fun to watch and listen to. He's not G-rated, though, just to give everyone a heads up. What else do we have here? Andreas Borgia. Now, this guy's an interesting one. I subscribed to him for a very unique reason. And the reason I subscribed to him is for these. His Academy Award montage videos. These are actually the videos that I show before my Oscar parties every year. They're just wonderful montages, and I think he does them way better than even the Academy themselves. So that's why I subscribe to him. But otherwise, he doesn't do a whole lot. But hey, as long as he's making these, I'll be happy. Another channel, Atheism is Unstoppable. Now, this is an interesting channel for me to follow because some of you might go like, well, Kevin, I thought you were a Christian. It's like, yeah, I am. But I do like seeing the other point of view sometimes. And sometimes he talks about, well, as you can see, he talks a lot about politics. He also talks about religion and why he does not believe in certain things. And I find that to be very interesting. So, I subscribe to him. He's actually got a few channels. So, apparently he's been suspended quite a few times. So, he's a little controversial. And this one, I don't know who, I guess that one was Cell Specs. I love Cell Specs. She does reviews for animated films, and unlike other channels like Animat and Animat, and I like Animat, by the way, too. He's not on here, but I like him. She's actually an animator, and she talks about the foreign animated films and the shorts and everything. So you not only get opinions on the mainstream stuff, but you get opinions on really quirky, off-the-wall stuff, and I actually use her kind of like as a reference guide to discover things that I normally would not have watched. Like, I don't know if there's anything here that I can point to exactly. Let's go to videos and see, she did a lot of mainstream, well, I've heard of Boy and the Beast, but you see what I mean? Like, she'll do Boy and the Beast, and she'll do Kung Fu Panda 3 and Shaun the Sheep, and then there's Inside Out. It's funny how she actually did Avengers. It's like, oh, that's legit a Korra. So, anyway, this is a really good channel. Personal opinion, of course. Company Man. Now, this is a real fun one. I don't know how many of you out there are interested in businesses, but if you are an entrepreneur, if you want to go into business for yourself, you should be interested in business to find out what their history is, how they got there, and sometimes how they fell. The Company Man is definitely the go-to guy if you want to find out how a company succeeded and then it failed. Like, you have the company declines, like what happened to all these companies, and then the bigger than you know. Like, the Mars actually surprised me quite a bit. And how did they get so big? Like, this channel is so much fun. Downward Thrust. This is a game editorial channel, I would call it. He doesn't do live streams, as far as I know. I think he just does opinions. But unlike other channels that I'm going to be talking about here, he doesn't always talk about the most current event thing that is happening. And it dawns on me, there's video games in the background as I talk about this. He talks about opinions on the game industry, what it's like being a YouTuber. So even if you don't like games, he's actually pretty fascinating to watch. Drive Girl Drive. I don't think that needs any introduction. Like, she's awesome. She's cool. You know her. She's on my podcast quite frequently. The Gaming Historian. Now, I love this guy because, well, it's the Gaming Historian. It's still kind of sad to think that, well, video games don't get a lot of documentaries about the history of the medium. And the Gaming Historian fills that need quite nicely, I think. So, I haven't watched the When Nike Sued Sega. That would be an interesting one. Or the story of Punch-Out. But I did recently watch the Super Mario Land series, and by the way, this episode on Tetris right here and Super Mario Bros. 2, highly recommended if you love the history of Nintendo. Glove and Boots. Now, what's funny about this channel is that they've kind of retooled to become a family-friendly site. It's not like it was an edgy channel to watch originally, but I don't think children's education was what they were aiming for. But recently they came back and they said it right there. We're back, Glove and Boots, videos for kids. So they've kind of reshaped their focus a little bit. That said, they did have a lot of very fun videos, like the brief history of Robin Thicke's 2013 summer hit, the Teleporter Space The vertical video syndrome. That's a great one. If you want to start with the history of television, this is the one that I recommend the most. You want to start out watching them, watch the history of television and vertical video syndrome. I think they also have like a top 10 list of movies that make men cry that was really hilarious. John Campea, you probably know who this guy is. He's a movie vlogger. I disagree with him on a lot of things, but he's very interesting and very entertaining to watch. Hence why I watch it. Mundane Matt, a little bit of a controversial guy recently. He got caught doing something he shouldn't be doing. I even made a couple videos where I accepted his apology for doing those things, and people of course came back and said, well, you shouldn't accept the apology. He did something really wrong. And well, I'm not going to get into that now. I definitely live by the whole forgiveness thing. But he comments on news and stuff like that. And he also has another channel called $3 Theater where he comments on movies. So I like watching that channel too. Midnight's Edge. This, I would say, is a gaming historian of movies. They make these really long documentaries looking at the histories of projects, why things played out the way they were, and why they suspect certain things went down. Like the Ghostbusters 3 Resurrected, the He-Man moving forward. Now, there are some times I disagree with them, like this one, why Kathleen Kennedy couldn't be fired. I totally disagree with that movie. I mean, if you're still on that bandwagon that Kathleen Kennedy was going to get fired, I think you're crazy. But for the most part, this is the most sensible and analytical channel I've seen about things that happen in the mainstream media. In terms of, like, for example, like, why was Daredevil canceled? They got to the heart on why that show was canceled, even though it makes me upset to think about. Matt Christensen, he's admittingly another conservative commentator. Used to be liberal, as far as I'm aware. Don't worry, I do have liberal people I do follow. I like to get both sides of the story, but he's very entertaining. And Review Tech USA, oh, he just hit 800,000 subscribers. Obviously, he talks about games and, technology, things like that. Interestingly, he tried to branch out into non-gaming related stuff, and his channel suffered as a result of it. So, I mean, that's kind of an example of what not to do. I'm getting a little bit of pushback for expanding my channel into non-U related stuff, but I think my name gives me the freedom to talk about apps at the very least. But I kind of watch him as kind of like a cautionary tale to, oh, you got a check mark. That's nice. To, but I do like his channel. Saber Spark, he's another animation commentator, does editorials, talks about what ruined companies and stuff like that. Once in a while, he does like a movie review, which is, I think he's probably better at the commentary than the movie reviews, but, whatever. Say Goodnight, Kevin. Now, he's interesting for here's how he's interesting. He is a Christian who comments on Christian media and how terrible a lot of it is. So, I mean, this is a G-rated channel. He doesn't curse. He doesn't swear. I mean, if you have Christian kids who watch his channel, he's not going to say there's no God or no Jesus. He actually says there very much is a God in Jesus. His whole thing is he looks at movies and it's like, why do Christian movies have to be so bad? And once in a while, he will give a good review to a Christian movie, like I Can Only Imagine, which was a good movie in all fairness. So he's a very interesting. He's a very, very interesting one. Like that's a good concept for a channel. Swoozy. Now this guy, he's an animator, and I got turned on to him because of his stories on how he used to work at Disneyland, and as you can see, he does like a lot of drawings and animation, and he just tells stories of his life. So he's what's really scary is, having worked at Disney myself, his Disney videos were very, very accurate, but a little exaggerated for entertainment purposes, but more accurate than you would want to admit. Now, if you want anime editorials, like, which is funny because the first one it shows is The Simpsons, but Super Eye Patch Wolf really goes super in-depth, and they're very interesting. I like how he talks about numbers and makes them really fascinating. I do disagree with him on a couple things, of course. Like when he talks about Dragon Ball Z, he talks about how much better the English dub is, which it's like, No, it's not. I'm sorry. English dub, well, it's gotten a lot better over the years, but the old English dub, which had like the Bruce Faulkner music and all the edits, like, no, that was trash. But again, I love the Fall of the Simpsons. I love the Fall of Bleach. He's very interesting. And then you have Adam the Woo, who, I actually know Adam. He's been in a couple of my videos, and I've run into him several times at Disneyland. And I know that he's actually going to be coming to Disneyland again with Boogie 2998. Is that how I always get the numbers mixed up? But yeah, I enjoy Adam the Woo's videos. And again, he was, I think, my first guest star on one of my channels. So yeah, and that video is on my main channel, so you can actually look for it, by the way. The Mysterious Mr. Ender. Now, what's funny about this guy is that he has the distinction of being one of the most hated people on YouTube. Like, they have actually made tons of videos just complaining about this guy. And admittingly, his editing is not the best, and his voice is a little odd sometimes. I admit that. But maybe it's because I have Asperger's syndrome too, but I like his videos. I like his points. I think his reviews have gotten way, way better, by the way. Like, his Family Guy videos are especially noteworthy to watch. I like that Shark Tale review. He might be a little in the worst cartoons of the 80s. I love that. So, I actually not only see him improving, but, you know, I agree with a lot of what he says. Now, sometimes I don't, of course. That's kind of a recurring theme. But I like the Mysterious Mr. Enter. In fact, I think when I was with your personal driver and your driver Mike, and they said, you know, who would you like to do a collab with most? I actually said I would really like to do a collab with Mysterious Mr. Enter one day. I don't know what it would be about. Although now that he's getting into technology with the Technocracy series, which is apparently going to be like an 8-episode miniseries, it's like, who knows? Maybe if he ever wants to do a collab, that would be great. I also like Todd in the Shadows, with my favorite videos of his being the one-hit wonderlands. They're just super fun, and I like how he goes into detail about these bands that were known for one song and then you never really heard from them again. So I really like his videos. Now, this is an odd one for me to watch because I'm not a vegan, and I have no intention of being a vegan. But I will say, as someone who continuously mocks, and I mean openly mocks, the vegan lifestyle as being unsustainable and all that jazz, I like her approach to it and how she talks about not only the pros, but the cons. She obviously finds way more pros in being vegan than cons. Otherwise, she wouldn't be a vegan. But I do like her, and she dispels some of the vegan myths, and I have actually tried some of her eating tips to help lose some of the weight, and I will probably get back on that at some point. Basically, holidays are over, so it's time to get back to eating better again. But yeah, so this is an interesting one for me to be subscribed to, but I kind of like to look at a little bit of this and that. Yang Yeah. Now, he's one of the guys that I actually listen to on a daily basis, podcast style. He picks up a news story, talks about one a day, and I think he's one of the best commentators on there. It dawns on me a lot of these people are not small, so maybe I'll do another video like small YouTubers that I like to watch to kind of, shine the light on some of those people. But yeah, I like Yang Yeah quite a bit. I think we've got 2 more here, and then we're going to wrap this up. YouTuber Law. Now this guy is one of two YouTuber guys that I watch on YouTube about the law. Whenever there's like a big legal case, he and Leonard, that's the guy's name, Leonard, they are the most interesting to watch in terms of legal analysis and explaining things and why this might go this way, why a case might go another way. I really enjoy YouTuber Law. In fact, he has actually commented on Uber lawsuits before. So the next time there's an Uber lawsuit, I might reach out to him and see if he wants to be on my podcast to discuss, ramifications of Uber lawsuits. And finally, for those of you who were waiting for this one, I do watch someone who's a liberal. Timcast. Well, he's got 2 channels. He's got Tim Pool, he's got Timcast. He is a socialist liberal, and he does a lot of news commentary. Now, admittingly, he seems to be siding a lot with the conservatives these days, but he makes it very clear he will never vote for a Republican. He is a big Bernie supporter, and I like him because I actually agree with him more than I agree with most of the conservative Uber-tubers. I believe in freedom of speech, but I agree with some form of, government assistance. So, and this guy's a madman, by the way. He's kind of like me. He posts several videos a day, and I listen to almost all of them. And because most of them aren't visually interesting, no offense to him, it makes it so that when I'm driving, I can listen on the speaker and, again, podcast style. So there's a lot to be said for that. But anyway, that's some of the YouTubers that I watch. If you haven't heard of them, go check them out if you feel like it. And if you enjoy them, subscribe to them and say, hey, the Apptrepreneur sent you. So, but if you don't like them, be nice. I mean, I don't want to spam anyone's videos because I like all these people. So, if any of my to any of the people who I talked about, if any of my viewers come and they start talking crap about you or something, I am very, very sorry. But anyway, that's where we're going to leave it. What do you folks think? Do you watch any of these YouTubers? Do you like any of them? Do you dislike any of them? I would love to know. So comment below. Like, favorite, share, subscribe. If you enjoy my videos, consider becoming a Patreon member. It's totally optional, but even $1 a month goes a long way to helping the channel run smoothly, and you get access to my Patreon's exclusive blog. And as always, flame responsibly. Have a good one.